Hey America, welcome to When Dudes Went Film. I am Damian Vargas, out here in Southern California in Los Angeles, and with me as always is my partner in crime on the other side of the country. His name is Josh Locklair from Atlanta, Georgia. Say hi, Josh.
Hello, Damian. How are you guys doing today?
It's raining here, Josh.
Yeah, weird weather for Los Angeles.
I can't believe that you actually have rain in Los Angeles. I'm all the way out here in Atlanta, and it's pure sunshine today, which is really nice.
Well,
So guys, what are we talking about today?
Well, our engineer and co-producer of this podcast, Koren Young, he's a big Ghostbusters fan, and he said, hey, guys, let's do a Ghostbusters podcast. I think that'd be cool. I said, sure, Koren.
Who doesn't want to talk about Ghostbusters? So yeah, I think this will be fun to kind of like dig into all of the different movies, or at least, starting with the...
Stop yelling at me.
Am I yelling at you? to accept the third one? We'll see if we discuss that.
There was a third
Sure.
Ghostbusters movie? I thought Ghostbusters Afterlife was the third movie. Sorry, I'm just joking.
Yeah, but you guys never,
JK.
you guys never even saw the 2016 Ghostbusters, did you?
I saw it, yeah. My son is a very big fan of that movie, actually. He likes all the Ghostbusters movies. I don't think he's seen Ghostbusters 2, but he likes the original a lot, and he thought the Lady Ghostbusters was fine, and we just started watching Ghostbusters Afterlife, and he really dug that too. He thought that was a nice homage to the original film, which he loves a lot. So,
was the original too scary for him at times?
For him, no. For his younger sister, yes. And the new movie Ghostbusters Afterlife was definitely a little intense for her, but he seems to like the new movie a lot. So
Okay. Because I saw it in the theater in '84, so I was 7 going on 8.
Was it too scary for you?
No, it wasn't. It was hilarious. And as an impressionable 7 going on 8-year-old, I walked out of there just repeating, we came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Of course.
Because that's the main thing I remember. And did I know Ray Stantz was having a wet dream with a ghost? No, I didn't know that. But I was just like, why is his pants falling down? Anyways, we'll get to that later.
So I think there's a lot of things that you wouldn't know as a kid. Like obviously there were big like SNL stars that were in this movie, and was that your first exposure to them?
No, I knew of them. I knew of them all.
Huh. How about that?
I watched SNL as a kid.
Well, let's go back, almost 40 years and just talk about like the beginning of Ghostbusters.
I'll relay this to my cohort and historian, Josh.
So, yeah, Ghostbusters started as a vehicle by Dan Aykroyd, and he was really interested in paranormal and the occult. And he originally wrote the script, or at least a version of the script, with the intention of making a movie with his friend John Belushi. But unfortunately, Belushi died before they could start production on the film. And interestingly enough, Eddie Murphy was also considered for one of the parts, but of course, Bill Murray and Ernie Hudson took the other roles. And I feel like the casting for this film is what really helps it sing a lot. I think it's a really balanced blend of comedy, action, and horror. I think the tone of the script and the characters are very finely tuned. And I think there's very solid performances from the cast. And I think that's what we all love about the movie so much.
Yeah, not only solid performances, but the chemistry and camaraderie between all four, even Ernie Hudson, even though he was, you could say, the new guy to the group, if you will. I feel he blended in quite nicely.
And the original version of the film was actually set in the future. And when
they were in
Ramis,
space, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. And the original Ghostbusters, like their headquarters was like a gas station in New Jersey. So, sorry, you're gonna have to cut that out.
No, we're not.
Anyway, I feel like the film really works because Ivan Reitman really let the cast improvise a lot of their lines and have fun with the story and the script. But he also he also understood how important the story was and how well and how much the chemistry of the characters really worked. But I think the standouts for the film for me were the way that the film is edited and the very subtle score that Elmer Bernstein did for the film. Oddly enough, both of the editors who worked on the movie have been nominated for Oscars for other movies.
No kidding.
Which shouldn't surprise anybody, no. David Blewett was Oscar nominated for his work on the 1980 film The Competition, and the other editor, Sheldon Kahn, was Oscar nominated for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Out of Africa. He also cut Private Benjamin. He cut Ghostbusters II and Kindergarten Cop. Those two movies were directed by Ivan Reitman, of course. But I feel like the script is smart enough to cash in on the humor. Anyway, I feel like the script really cashes in on the way that we see commercialism. And there's a really good line early in the film about the fact that Dr. Venkman, when they were kicked out of Columbia University, the guy who fires them basically says that, well, you guys don't really do science. And he said, and then somebody later in the film asked him, well, what are you a doctor of exactly? Parapsychology and psychology. So there's always sort of a joke in the movie of like, well, are these guys really scientists or are they businessmen? And it seems like there's a little bit of, and that seems like a theme of the film is like, are they science for scientific sake? Or are they businessmen? I mean, what do we really think they are?
Yeah, that's a good point, because there's other lines in there, now that you mention it, like where they say, we're ready to believe you, or where Winston Zeddemore says, if there's a steady paycheck, I'll believe anything you say. Like, they're really kind of selling out to whatever's going to make them that money.
Well, I think we know Winston is not a scientist. He just needed a job.
Yeah, you're right.
Obviously, Spengler, I'll say, is a scientist. Ray Stantz, I'll give him a scientist. I think Venkman wants to be a scientist, but I think he knows there's more to it.
Yeah, he doesn't take it as seriously.
Exactly, he doesn't take it as seriously.
But Ray and Egon for sure.
But he believes, I believe. I believe he believes.
In a thing called love.
Yes.
And Aykroyd also, when he initially imagined the story, he imagined it as a ghostly comedy, like one of those spooky capers with Bob Hope or Abbott and Costello. And with just more action, actually a lot more action is what he originally envisioned. But Ivan Reitman definitely toned that down. And in Aykroyd's original version of the script, they were just catching ghosts right off the bat. Ivan Reitman and Harold Ramis went in and added the whole backstory of, the fact that they were failed academians and researchers who basically needed a way to monetize their ideas and what they wanted to do.
Right. And I think that was probably best, because why would you just all of a sudden just believe there's ghosts around? There has to be some sort of history as to why things are happening and some kind of build up to why they do what they do. Because otherwise we're just believing, there's active ghosts just running around the city.
I also like how the characters contrast themselves. So you have Venkman, who is, sort of the, he's the smart ass. And then you have Egon, who is the true scientist. And then Ray, who's more of the, he's kind of the cuckoo / free spirit kind of guy.
Sure. Is he? I guess so.
Yeah, he is. He's the one with, Ray's a cult, right?
Yeah, right.
So.
And they sort of pay that off, not unintentionally, but they pay that off in Ghostbusters Afterlife when the character podcast said, "Oh, you're my," he finds
you're my
out
one
that
follower.
You're my one subscriber. Exactly.
Yeah. He really finds its legs in episode 46. I hope we don't take as long.
Exactly.
Do you guys know there's an actual paranormal investigator named Peter Aykroyd? And I thought up until now that he was related to Dan Aykroyd. Like somehow he was influenced by his brother's business or something. But this guy is British, and I don't think they're related at all.
They're not.
I don't believe that's a real name.
It's a real dude.
No, I'm joking. Oh, he spells it differently.
But I saw the movie.
He's ACK.
I saw the original Ghostbusters when it came out in the theater. I think I was out on a vacation at Myrtle Beach at the time, and I went with a couple of cousins. And I remember really enjoying it. And I didn't go see it initially because it wasn't a John Hughes film. I loved John Hughes movies that came out at the time, but I was more interested in action movies. So, but I feel like I feel like the fact that the movie blends comedy and action and some measure of horror, I think, is what makes the film. So it really balances all those.
It balances a lot of genres.
Yeah, and Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is the most current film, does that really well too. And I
Yeah.
don't understand. I don't understand why Ghostbusters Afterlife didn't really get a lot of critical notice. I felt like it was, if anything, it was sort of a campy, fun revisit to the Ghostbusters universe, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. I was really pleasantly surprised, and I thought Jason Reitman did a great job. And even the cheesy parts, the cheesy callbacks weren't that cheesy. I was like, okay, you have to do this. You have to say who you're gonna call. That line has to get it thrown in there somewhere, and it did, and it wasn't bad. It was fine.
Yeah, it's like doing a Terminator movie without "I'll be back" in there somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like you just have to do it.
I thought the movie was decent. I don't think it'll stand the test of time. Like I don't want to watch it over and over like I did.
I don't think
other
it's
movies when I was younger.
For me, yeah, I agree. I don't think it's that movie for me as like the original Ghostbusters or even Ghostbusters 2 for that matter. Because there's something about Ghostbusters 2 that's just fun.
Yeah.
And his name is Peter McNichol.
Oh yeah, he was good. So Josh, do you feel like Afterlife is a movie that your kids would want to watch over and over? Is that the one for them? Oh.
No. I think the original was probably the movie they liked better. I definitely, when we were watching the movie last night, actually, my daughter, who's 9, was very. She thought that some of the ghost sequences were very intense, and she was jumping into my lap, just saying it was just too scary for her.
That's cute. I like that. Protective father. I like that we have a different aspect because I'm married, Koren's single, you're married with children. 3 different aspects of how we watch Ghostbusters and maybe how we present it to others.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the difference is I watch the stuff alone, you watch it with a partner, and you watch it with a family.
And you have to make sure it's okay for the family, right?
Yeah, it was a gamble.
I didn't pre-screen Ghostbusters Afterlife for the kids. I probably should have, because it is a PG-13 film, and my kids are at least now they're 11 and 9.
Oh, that's old enough.
Close enough.
The 11-year-old was not fazed by it at all, and he enjoyed it, and he was laughing because he remembers a lot of the jokes that they're playing off of from the original film.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of jokes and callbacks to the original. Now, I watched Afterlife a few days ago, and my first thing when I watched that movie, was like, wow, is Ivo Shandor the cause of this whole thing? Like it was an interesting for them to take Ivo Shandor, which was just, I don't want to say a throwaway line in the original movie, but just,
Oh, it totally was.
just basically like, oh, we need to come up with some dude.
Well,
Like,
Ivor Shandor does have history with the original script that Aykroyd wrote, because
right.
in the original Ghost Smashers, I think that's what it was called, Ghost Smashers, yeah. Ivor Shandor was originally the guy that the Ghostbusters worked for in Aykroyd's version of the script. So that is not, Ivo Shandor is not somebody that's arbitrary. He's a character that is part of the Ghostbusters universe, but
Right.
not somebody we were previously aware of.
Right. But when you first saw, like when you watch the original Ghostbusters, you don't think he's like the main like antagonist, if you will, or he's like the main cause for why what's happening is happening.
Exactly. Another part of the film the original film that I like is that William Atherton is one of the villains. And he's a great villain of the 80s, because he plays the heavy in this movie. He plays the heavy in another movie, another 80s film that I really like, Real Genius. And of course,
Yep.
he was also in Die Hard, right?
Yeah, okay.
He was in Die
I was
Hard.
going to say he was from Die Hard, yeah.
Yes. Maybe not the main antagonist in Die Hard, but it was Bonnie Bedelia's antagonist in Die Hard.
Exactly.
For sure. Yes, Walter Peck.
Walter Peck.
Still one of the greatest lines ever.
Which one?
This man has no dick.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's what I heard. Koren, what you looking at there?
I'm actually looking. I have a copy of the Ghostbusters screenplay here with like all kinds of notes, and I'm trying to find stuff about like the original versions where they're either in space or a gas station in New Jersey or anything like that. 'Cause it's got a lot of like really great insight. It's got like a map of the firehouse and everything. So,
Yeah. See that here. I can read some of this. This is stuff that I got off of Slash Film.
Credit Slash Film.
Yes, the change that so Aykroyd was a passionate spokesperson, and coming from a family with a long history in spiritualism. And like I said, he imagined the film as a caper with Bob, sort of like a Bob Hope caper and Abbott Costello.
That I remember. That I've heard before.
But Ivan Reitman had some interesting things that he said in Don Shay's book, Making Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
and I quote,
that's the exact book.
For one thing, it was set in the future, and it took place on a number of different planets or dimensional planes, and it was all action. There was very little character work in it, which is something Ivan Reitman obviously changed.
Yes.
The Ghostbusters were catching ghosts on the very first page and doing it on every single page after that without respite. Just one sort of supernatural phenomenon after another. By the 10th page, I was exhausted. And by the 40th or 50th page, however many there were, I was counting the budget in the hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yes. Compared to the maybe $30 million budget the original Ghostbusters had.
But the post that I read goes on to say that the change that was made that makes the biggest difference is to how the film plays out is following the Ghostbusters from their start of their career and making them the only guys in town offering ghost catching services. While they are the experts in their field, they are still novices when it comes to actually catching ghosts and ghouls. So the film takes us along with the ride for them. So it shows them how they screw up. And
right.
It shows and it
they
shows
don't know,
how flawed
they just know they can do
they
it.
all are. Yeah.
Yeah, they know
and
it's
of course,
possible.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying they know it's theoretically possible to do it. So their whole job is an experimental project.
Yeah, it's a new emerging industry.
Yeah. It was.
And they
Somebody
fight
had to
about
start
money. They waste petty cash on takeaways. And then they retreat fearfully when they first fire up the proton packs. They don't even know if they work, which is another joke that was called out in Afterlife.
Right.
And they face skepticism and snootiness from all corners, which makes their success all the more rewarding in the end and gets us on board when they face a far deadlier foe. They might be the toast of the town, but they're still underdogs for that final confrontation with Gozer.
Of course.
Wow, I'll have to watch the film again as an adult because I think there's a lot of things that you're mentioning here about like just getting into business and having to deal with the government and permits and public relations and.
I mean, we've all gotten around permits, guys.
Yeah.
And there was another thing that I thought was interesting too. I didn't find this short film. I'm not even sure it still exists. But Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd made a short film that they sent out to theater owners, encouraging them to show the film before it was released. Because I think that they thought that the movie was kind of hard to sell because of the fact that it blended genres.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, because Ghosts used to always just be like for horror films.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this kind of a comedy. Was this all stuff that you read off Slash Film, or did you actually have the Don Shea book?
This was Slash Film.
Okay,
but I think it's paraphrasing things that are in Don Shea's book.
No, you actually just read it verbatim because I was just looking at that same paragraph. I've got the book here, published in 1985, and it's pretty cool. I don't know if I'll hand this over to Damian. You can take a look at it too.
Cool.
And the cinematographer, I get it. I geek out on the craft credits. The cinematographer was Laszlo Kovacs, who I believe shot Easy Rider. And of course, Elmer Bernstein, who's written countless music scores, wrote the score for the film, which is also used in Afterlife.
Yes.
The same score?
Done by somebody else, but it was basically an homage to the same score. Yeah.
Huh.
Yes.
Which I
it's almost
really
the same. It's almost the same score.
Yeah.
But they probably just reorchestrated it a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. But I enjoyed that much. I enjoyed that very much because I really liked the score.
And it's not layered all over the film like a lot of scores are, like a Hans Zimmer score. There's no disrespect to Hans Zimmer.
No, never.
But the score for this film is just kind of carefully placed in the right places in the movie, and I think it works really well for that reason. I think that's a lot, and I think that really is a testament to Ivan Reitman's creative choices and also the choices of the editors who worked on the film with him.
I agree.
But I definitely,
it's a very distinct score. You know exactly what it is when you hear it.
Yeah, I feel like going back and watching this movie and going back and watching some of Ivan Reitman's other movies, I feel like he's very underappreciated for what he did. And he's even said, and reading his obituary when he did die, he said, the movies I made were heavily improvised. They don't have a lot of signature shots, if you will. So I'm not perceived as a very flashy director, but I work with improvisational actors, and that's sort of the compromise I had to make to work with those actors. And I feel like my work stands on its own, but it's certainly not the type of work that's going to be nominated for a lot of awards.
Weird.
No, and it doesn't have to be. But
no, he made a lot of money.
I really like his films,
and he gets to make a lot of movies. So
it's sad that I feel like he's like trying to justify himself as like an iconic director.
Yeah, he doesn't need to justify himself in any way, shape, or form.
No, he doesn't.
To many, he's iconic.
And he did finally get an Oscar nomination working with his son on Up in the Air.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know if you've seen that.
Is that the George Clooney movie?
Yes, George Clooney,
yes.
Anna Kendrick, Vera Farmiga.
Huh.
Josh, were you talking about the that short film we were mentioning? That's not the promotional film they showed. It's like a 4-minute thing they showed at Show West.
It might be. I don't know.
Because it is on YouTube.
It probably is. I just didn't have time to hunt it down.
Yeah, okay. It could be that. Maybe not.
It probably is. I mean, if it's something talking about, promoting the film that they and those two are in it, then that's probably the same.
Yeah, Murray and Aykroyd are in it.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'll have to see it.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
It's probably not very long, so.
No, it's almost 4 minutes. So, yeah, you can find it's an easy find. Just search publicity or promo video, and it's like the first thing that comes up.
Okay.
So kind of pivoting a little bit, what do we want to say about Ghostbusters 2 or the 2016 Ghostbusters film with the all-female cast?
Well, let's start with Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah, I would say let's go in order. We'll go chronological.
Which came out in 1989, right?
Correct, 89.
Yep.
Summer of 89, which was a huge summer
And
in film.
And that's a film that I remember I wanted to see. It was in theaters on my 9th birthday, and I had a bunch of friends. Well, in 89. I was born in 80.
You were, damn, I forget that.
And,
okay.
I know, I'm the young one. I think they were sold out or something, and so we ended up buying tickets to Back to the Future 3 and then just going to see Ghostbusters 2 instead.
You snuck in. You did the sneak in, huh?
I was with, my dad and a couple of my friends.
Sure.
And I've since seen Ghostbusters 2 way more times than I have the original Ghostbusters, and I think we had a VHS tape because it was on TV, and it was on TV a lot more than the first one.
Yes, it still is.
And I don't at all think it was a better movie. Like, it's not even close, but for some reason that's the one that I could probably recite verbatim.
Yeah.
See, I remember that movie, and I think when I remember Premiere running an article on it, and I think they literally said the movie was shot in a month.
I believe it.
It was shot I remember it being shot very quickly, and the movie just has, it doesn't have the same polished feel as the first movie does at all, and I don't think it even has the same spirit to it. I mean, I don't think I don't feel like the chemistry is there at all, but.
You don't think? I think the chemistry's there, but it may just not be as passionate as the first.
You know what it felt like?
Because it's easy for those guys to work together. They can just go through the motions, and it's still going to be funny.
I feel like it's a typical sequel in that they took each of their character traits, like a Venkin's the quirky one who doesn't take things seriously. They took that of him and made him extra, and then the same thing with Ray. They made him.
Everyone's a little exaggerated.
So the whole thing felt like a parody of itself, kind of.
Right.
Except it wasn't like over the top, but
but.
It felt like a TV series. Like you say, it didn't feel like it had the same weight as the same as the first movie. It almost felt like it was like a pilot of like the Ghostbusters.
Sure.
Take Manhattan or something.
Take Manhattan.
And I think it also was hurt by the fact that the Indiana Jones movie had come out a few months earlier, and then of course the first Batman movie came out a few weeks before it premiered as well. And
yep.
I feel like both of those movies really cut into its box office share
Definitely.
as a whole.
Those two were more sought after by the mass.
So if anything, that might affect the box office, but that wouldn't affect the critical reviews. Like if people, like I remember my dad saying that was so ridiculous. The Statue of Liberty walking through New York City. Come on.
Right. It is ridiculous.
Like we could buy that the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man appeared and could, because that was like a supernatural thing. But
sure,
the Statue of Liberty is an actual thing without moving parts.
You're right. They concocted that. They made it because of like
they put the
good slime,
good slime on it,
good positive slime,
and made it like walk through the harbor and
right.
So at some point, your suspension of disbelief is like, that's where I draw the line.
Right. But it's the power of positivity, Koren.
And Ray controlling it with his Nintendo
with his NES Advantage.
Yeah, that's the advantage.
Yes, that was hilarious. Power of positivity. It goes a long way.
Yeah, so is this thing moving due to supernatural? Like, is it like possessed, or is it like somehow a robot now that he's got this controller?
Well, ideally, we're supposed to believe like the good slime possessed it, quote unquote, in a way, but Ray had to electronically and physically remotely move.
Right. Yeah. Sure. That's kind of what I didn't like about the fourth Indiana Jones movie, is that it was a little bit of everything. There was supernatural stuff, then there's aliens, then there's like robots, and then there's just too much.
It was. Yeah.
That's my least favorite of the Indiana Jones movies.
It's everyone's least favorite.
Okay.
You're not alone.
So I'm not being controversial here?
Not at all. But that's another podcast.
Well, all right.
It is another podcast. Well, possibly. Either way, it's not this podcast. But you're not wrong. But yeah. But here's what I did like a lot about Ghostbusters 2. I like that Annie Potts and Rick Moranis' character. They kind of like,
They get together.
Yeah, they get together. It's kind of nice. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, but she had a thing for Egon.
I know she did. I know. Egon's too preoccupied to deal with that. He's got bigger issues.
Yeah,
on his mind.
And even in the newest movie, I think Janine kind of said that she had some kind of a history with Egon, right?
Well, she did, because in the first one they have a history.
Right. So was this just a fling that she had with Louis Tully?
Maybe. To each his own. But I think that was a little fun, quirky thing, storyline, side note storyline to the, and they watch the baby, they babysit,
Yeah, and she was
like teenagers, they're caught making out and the baby gets kidnapped
that was
by
good.
a ghost,
I did like that. Yeah, she was such a seductress.
Oh, she was. Annie Potts, big seductress. Shout out Annie Potts.
She was the grandmother of young Sheldon.
She is. I don't watch that show though. I just stopped. I didn't get into that. But the one really big highlight for me in Ghostbusters 2 is Peter McNichol's character.
Janusz Poha.
Janusz, from the Upper West Side. He is from the Upper West Side.
Yeah, I feel like he's for me. He's probably the standout character for me in that movie.
Yeah.
Is he a villain? I guess he's kind of a villain.
Well, he ends up being possessed by the great Vigo.
Yeah, but he's also kind of a creep, like from the very beginning.
Well, a little bit, because who doesn't love Dana Barrett?
Yeah.
I mean, But yeah, he's just, he was in that position of power.
So what was his job?
I think it was just like the museum, like the curator. Yeah, I think it was just the whole museum curator.
Mm-hmm.
So he knew everything about all the different pieces, and he took it personally when he's like, "You don't respect Vigo? He is Vigo."
I think he was already possessed at that time.
Was he? Okay.
I think he was. Yeah, he absolutely was. I don't think he knew. I don't think he really knew his things about art. He just knows that that's his job and that's what needs to be done. But I think Vigo totally.
So I saw some memes recently about who gets to take home an Oscar, and of course it was Janusz when he came in and stole Oscar in Ghostbusters 2. And I looked up the kids. So the Oscar was actually played by twins.
Yes.
And I was like, what are they up to now? This is like just recently I looked them up.
I would love to know.
And it was there were actually two kids. It was Henry and William Duschendorf. and they grew up. I think they were still doing stuff in the industry, and one of them sadly passed away a few years ago. And I want to say it was suicide, and his brother found him in their apartment.
Wow,
hanged. So I know it's kind of a downer.
That's a big downer.
So yeah, I hate to bring that up, but they were
Wow.
He was 28 years old at the time, and he had schizophrenia.
Oh, that's a shame.
And yeah, but other brother seems to still be doing stuff, I think.
Well, I mean, the movie, the original Ghostbusters movie is almost 40 years old.
Yeah.
And
really?
The odd part about it is all the main cast members, except for Ramis, are still alive.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we lost Ivan Reitman just recently.
Yeah, we just lost
director.
Ivan Reitman recently. But yeah, everyone else is alive. Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah, no, I will say, jumping way forward to Afterlife, and seeing them, it's actually kind of sad seeing them come in and do these cameos, because like we have this vision of them, 40 years ago is such a long time. Like that's almost like my entire life, and the fact that like they were probably like 30 in their 30s, 40s when they made the film. So of course they're in their 70s now, and they look great for that. But when you see them now, you're like, oh man, that's what you look like. Time hasn't been kind to you.
Yeah. It's everyone's age. It's also, but it reminds you just how old you are.
Yeah.
More than anything. I was like, man, I was a kid, and these guys were just, like how old I am now, or probably younger.
Right. Yeah. So it was nice to see their cameos, just for a moment. But would we want to see them like actually come in and like do another film in their roles? Probably not, right?
I guess it would depend. I mean, what they did in Afterlife, I think, was enough.
Yeah. It's enough to pass the torch.
Yeah, they shot. Yeah, I mean, they shot the proton packs. They did the stuff.
Are you bothered by the fact that they didn't try to make Harold Ramis's ghost speak?
I thought about it for a minute, and I'm like, oh yeah, they can't really make him talk, can they? Or at first, I was like, I was wondering if they could have.
Yeah, why not?
They probably could have. It probably would have added a lot more budget to the film to develop that.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that.
They would have had to take things from old movies that he had done.
Sure, exactly.
But the problem is that he didn't. I don't know how many movies he actually acted in, so it might have been hard to. And they would have had to basically create a digital version of his voice.
Yeah,
and they may have tried to do it. I don't know, but
there's a few
But I
ways...
think the way that they did it worked fine.
I think it looked amazing, to be honest with you.
I don't think we needed to hear him, but if they wanted to, there's a few ways that they could have done it. They could either like you said, find other films that he had done and use entire bits and pieces from that. Mm-hmm. They could have used AI and technology to recreate his voice. I've seen them do that with other people. Like that stuff is really, really smart, where you can actually like type in something and it'll say it in his voice. Mm-hmm. But the easiest way to probably do that is just to have a sound-alike. And there's any number of people that could have sounded like him to say something similar. And then they could just do a deep fake thing on his face. Like people do that all the time on TikTok for like celebrities, and they look incredible. Like
what's TikTok?
Known. Oh, come on. You're not too old for TikTok.
I absolutely am.
Damian's not on Twitter yet.
No, I was on Twitter. I got off Twitter. I was just tired of it.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just me. But yes, they could have used his voice, and I'm looking here, and I guess they had a Ghostbusters video game in 2009 where he lent his voice to the Egon Spengler character. So for video games, obviously you're doing a lot of just generic lines for almost every situation.
Yeah, so that would have been a good idea.
That would have been a great vehicle to sample from if they chose to do that.
Unless... I mean, he's not saying something like, I'm proud of you, grandkid.
Right.
He's saying
that would have been something needed.
Come on, let's get to the car.
Yeah. Don't cross the streams, blah blah blah. But I'll give I called it the Force Ghost. Because amazing, it just has to be blue tinted. Every ghost has to be blue tinted now. I actually thought that was an amazing job. Like I was like, wow. I'm like, wow, that's pretty good.
I feel like they almost made Ghostbusters Afterlife 10 years too late. Because ultimately, he could have participated
Yeah.
Well, I think he began getting sick in 2011, but up until even 12 years ago, he would have been able to participate. But
Yeah, because I think didn't he and Ivan Reitman want to do this much longer time ago?
They did. They had, well, he and Aykroyd had wanted to do a Ghostbusters 3 for a long time.
Yeah.
And they just, I think Murray was the holdup. He didn't want to work with Ramis because they'd had their falling out on Groundhog Day.
Right.
What was this falling out about? It makes me sad to hear that.
I don't know.
I don't know if somebody knows, but we don't. I don't think it's out there for the world to know. We just know it happened.
Oh.
I mean, Murray, I feel like Murray is a complicated guy.
Apparently only Wes Anderson can contact him.
Yeah, I guess he has that. They say he has this cell phone that you can call him. It's weird, but I've heard good things about him too. So
yeah,
because he's shown up at weddings. My freshman year college roommate, his mother moved to Charleston to be closer to him and his sister after his dad passed away. And the neighborhood that she moved into, Murray was one of her neighbors. And when he saw her move in, he knocked on the door after she moved in and say, "Hey, my name is Bill and I live in the neighborhood. And if you ever need anything, let me know." Because I guess he recognized the fact that she was a single lady moving into the house and she was older. So
yeah, I've really only heard good things about him.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah,
except for the stories
he continues
to steals a fry.
He continues to work with Wes Anderson. He continues to work with Sofia Coppola. So there are filmmakers that he has good rapport with.
Yeah,
but I felt for sure he would have. I thought for sure the night of the Oscars when he was nominated for Lost in Translation, he was going to win. And
I really thought he was going to win.
I couldn't believe I was shocked when he didn't win.
Who did win?
Ooh,
we have to go back. What year was that? 2000.
That was 2003.
Yeah, I would say 5.
Yeah, see, that would maybe be less shocking.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just see. We'll do it right now. There's this thing called Wiki.
Yeah. So my brothers had the opportunity to work with Bill Murray recording ADRs. My brother Ryan, when he was at Warner Brothers, and Bill came in with a bag of oranges, just tossing an orange to everybody who was there. The post supervisor and the sound supervisor, and just being all around really friendly. And that it sounds like a story that you'd see. Did you guys get a chance to see the Bill Murray stories? It's a documentary.
No,
I think it's
the actor who won in 2003 was Sean Penn for Mystic River.
Okay,
thank you.
So so not so surprising. Just a couple of years ago, there was a documentary. I think it might be on Netflix, and it's called "The Bill Murray Stories: Life Lessons Learned from a Mythical Man." And it's just all these like random people around the country that have had run-ins with Bill Murray, like where he does just show up at the wedding, or like if you're
I have heard of this.
You're sitting down at a cafe and you're eating, and he comes up and he steals a French fry, and then when you look up at him, he's just like, "Yeah, who are you gonna tell? No one's gonna believe you," and then he leaves. Like that's the whole story. He shows up at like frat parties and stuff just to like hang out with people, and then leaves like without saying goodbye.
I could see that. I could see that happening.
So I mean, it's kind of funny for like a man in his 60s, 70s to be just having fun with people, really.
Yeah.
Well, I've also read that his entire role in Tootsie was improvised.
Oh yeah, I could totally believe that.
Sidney Pollack knew that he needed an actor to have. He needed a reflective character for the Dustin Hoffman character who was a roommate. And he cast Bill Murray, and he let Bill Murray improvise all of his lines.
Yeah.
Because he was great at it.
Yeah.
And
when you're great at improvising, and a director knows you're great at improvising, you kind of should just let them do it.
Yeah.
Because more chances than not, you're probably going to come up with something gold.
Yep.
So that's why no one blames Ivan Reitman for letting them just improvise probably half of this Ghostbusters script, as long as they move the story along.
Most of the lines are in the script, but this might be this Don Shea book that is actually like it is the screenplay with a lot of notes. That might be the first time that I got to like watch a movie while reading the script alongside it, and it was weird when I was younger because it was very kind of like off-putting and confusing to me when something that's written is not what they said on screen. It's like, well, why why is it not what's on the script? And I wonder now how often what they actually said was better. If it was an improvised or if it was a different version.
Oh, we'll never know.
I guess it really depends on the director. You know, how comfortable the director is with letting actors improvise their lines. I mean, Billy Wilder was famous for not letting his actors improvise hardly anything.
Yeah, some people insist on you write what's on the script. You read what's in the script.
Yeah, I mean,
and some people will be like, read what's in the script, and then you can do your thing, and then
a lot of times
choose.
What's in the script has like specific beats that are called back later, and so you don't want to miss that stuff. But
right.
other than that, like the filler dialogue around it could be anything. You could mess with that. Yeah.
Right.
Well, there was I guess the movie Touch of Evil, the Orson Welles film. He didn't have a finished script when he started shooting, but he had to go ahead and start shooting. And I think sometimes he overdubbed some of the scenes in their entirety because he wanted to decide what the actor was going to say later.
Yeah.
And he would tell the actor, just recite the pledge of the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States. I'll put something else in later. So.
Weird.
Sometimes geniuses just know what to do.
Yeah. Do we have anything else that we want to say about Ghostbusters 2?
No.
No. Okay.
Sorry, I'm not a hater. I don't love that movie.
Okay.
Bobby Brown got a hit out of it, so
he got 2 hits out of it.
Was there 2?
Well, yeah, there was We're Back and Too Hot to Handle.
That's right. I don't really remember the We're Back. The Too Hot to Handle, yes.
So I had the soundtracks for both Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2, and the Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack I like way better.
You know what? I think I actually had a cassette single of the Too Hot to Handle song.
Yeah,
by Bobby Brown.
I had the
it just came in a
cassette.
little cardboard sleeve for singles and cassettes.
I remember.
It was like $3.99.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I had it. I don't have it anymore though.
I actually still like that song, and it's funny when I hear it on the radio today because
you don't hear that on the radio
I do.
today.
No, I heard Too Hot to Handle come on somewhere, and it's not even like they like adapted it for the movie. Like he's still in there. You know, you call the Ghostbusters who are in control. Like that's in the song that you hear. And I did hear it somewhere.
Oh my god!
I don't remember. It might have been on a Pandora or something. Maybe that knows me well enough to like give me that stuff.
Let's play some Ghostbusters for Koren while he's listening.
But like the original soundtrack from Ghostbusters had some like other songs in there, like from Air Supply and stuff that were like, Like,
well, no, fair.
Those songs were okay. Now we could talk about the theme song for Ghostbusters by Ray Parker Jr. and the lawsuit.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So originally they had asked Huey Lewis to do the theme song for Ghostbusters, and he turned it down. He was busy, and he also was working on the music for Back to the Future.
Yes.
I think he had 2 songs in there too.
Yep, 2 songs.
Power of Love and
Back in Time.
Back in Time.
Yep.
Which were both great, and they told Ray Parker Jr., we want something like Huey Lewis, and I think they played I Want a New Drug.
Yeah.
And if you listen musically to that versus the Ghostbusters, they both have the same bum 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 bum.
Yeah,
I want
it's
a new
the same.
drug.
It's similar to the Vanilla Ice and
Under Pressure.
Yeah.
Now I heard something interesting about that one too. Vanilla Ice was funny because when they confronted him on it, he was on TV saying, "No, theirs goes dum 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 dum," but mine goes dum 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 dum. There's that extra note in there, so it's totally not sampled.
It totally is different,
and he knew that it was,
of course.
And they sued him, and it was a lot of money. And what he did, have you heard the ending of the story?
No, I don't remember.
He bought the rights to Under Pressure. He owns Under Pressure now.
Oh, well, good for him.
He bought it from David Bowie and Queen. And so now he was like, whatever the song cost him to buy, a couple $100,000, whatever it was less than the amount of the lawsuit. And he was like, it was cheaper to buy the song. And so now, anytime you play Ice Ice Baby or Under Pressure, Vanilla Ice is getting paid.
Smart man. He figured it out.
And that's where the money is supposedly in music ownership.
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
it is.
Absolutely.
That's advice that Paul McCartney gave to Michael Jackson long time ago and said, if you want to make money, you got to own the music.
Right.
And then Michael bought
bought all the Beatles,
album.
yeah.
And
And
I'm
then
sure
when
it was
Michael
like,
needed money, Paul bought it back at the cheap.
yeah, well, yeah, he didn't buy it from Paul. He probably bought it from
Well, yeah, he
whatever
bought
label
it.
at the
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
But yeah,
But
So I
then
guess
Paul
you-
bought it back.
So I guess you know that Parker Jr. also sued Huey Lewis for breaching the confidentiality agreement
That's
in
right.
the case
Yes.
as well. So they
Right.
sued each other, and of course, the filmmakers were also sued by Harvey Cartoons, which owned Casper the Friendly Ghost for $50 million
right, for the logo, yeah.
And they also
Oh.
wanted to, and the cartoon maker also wanted them to destroy all copies of the film.
oh, yeah, get
The
out of
company
here.
alleged that the Ghostbusters logo was based on their character Fatso.
Yeah.
You know, the logo maybe, but if that's just what we think
I mean, it's a ghost.
ghosts are supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. So Ray Parker Jr. was sued and lost, and he paid, and so they settled for an undisclosed amount. So yeah, so
Right.
he didn't lose. They settled, and Huey Lewis spoke about it, I guess, publicly, and they're like, now it's our turn.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
did like that it was in the end credits of Ghostbusters Afterlife. I was like, oh, they played the song.
Which one? The original song?
Yeah, Ray Parker Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And Bill
So-
Murray didn't work in movies for years after Ghostbusters because he thought the success was going to be his biggest hit ever, and his other movie that he made that came out the same year, The Razor's Edge, was
Razor's
a big
Edge.
failure.
Yeah.
And
went
he,
drunk.
he didn't do another big role in a movie until Scrooge, which was in the end of '88.
Yeah.
oh, okay, you're talking about after the first movie.
After the
he
first
did- he didn't-
Ghostbusters,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so I was
he didn't
gonna
do
say, I
anything.
went and saw him lots of times. I remember seeing him in like What About Bob?
Right.
And,
that was his second wave, we'll say? A second wave for Bill?
Yeah, that was probably one of his first. Yeah, because he did that, and then he did Groundhog Day.
I love Groundhog Day.
It's a great script. I think the
That's a great
script for that
script.
movie won a BAFTA, the British Academy Film and TV Award, which is kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
BAFTAs are
because
big.
comedy scripts don't win awards.
No, they sure
Typically,
don't. Sadly.
no.
The hardest thing to do is
And
make
it's
someone
the
laugh.
hardest. It's the hardest to do. Yeah. And
But yeah, that was
if you
just
go
such
back
a-
and look at all the writing nominations at the Oscars, I'd say 20% of them are comedies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Easily.
Yeah.
So he's done a lot of great movies, and I used to love going to see him. And of course, it was because I knew him from Ghostbusters.
Right.
So every time I'd see him in, like in Kingpin, I'm like, oh, there's Bill Murray or Ed Wood.
Right.
Yeah.
Which he was great in Ed Wood, actually.
Yeah.
You go back and he's Carl in Caddyshack, probably one of his greatest
Right.
roles.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he did that movie when he was still at Saturday Night Live. And then he was in Stripes, and he was in Meatballs too, right around the
Yep.
same time.
Yep.
Now, he was the voice of Garfield.
Yes,
in
he
the-
was.
in the animated film, and
Yes.
there's rumors
Yeah.
as to why he did that movie, because that wasn't seen as a good movie. But
Right.
legend has it that he was told that Joel Cohen wrote the movie, and he's like, "Oh, I love the Coen brothers, Joel and Ethan Cohen." But those are the Coen brothers,
It was honest mistake.
Coen,
Honest mistake.
and the writer of Garfield is Joel Cohen with an H. I don't know if that's true. That might have just been a joke.
I can't believe they'd lie to him like that, though.
Oh no, they didn't lie to him. He might have just seen the name and like, oh, good, I'll do anything that he's
Yeah.
doing.
I mean, it's not like he just walked into a studio and recorded lines. I mean, he didn't have to do a whole lot.
But there is another connection to Garfield. Do you know who did the voice of Garfield in the animated series?
No.
There was a guy named Lorenzo Music who did the voice of Garfield, and if you remember his voice, it was just a very monotone, like,
Yeah,
"Hey, what's going on?"
sure.
He was the same one that did the voice of Peter Venkman in the real Ghostbusters cartoon series.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
And I think he had a voice on Tailspin. Was he Baloo? I don't remember, but
Interesting.
So yeah, so
Would have never known that.
it was kind of interesting that Lorenzo Music did the voice of Peter Venkman and Garfield, and then in the live action, Bill Murray is Peter Venkman and Garfield.
That's small world.
Yeah. So yeah, another connection. Don't know how intentional that was at the time, but pretty cool. So moving into 2016 Ghostbusters, which we won't spend too much time talking about. I was actually really looking forward to it because as a Ghostbusters fan, I always want more. In fact, when I was in elementary school, I wrote, I don't remember if it was a script or if it was a book, but I wrote like what I thought would be Ghostbusters 3, and I still have it, but I haven't read
Should
it
have busted
in
that out.
like in like 35 years.
We could have done a scene, all of us, right now.
I'm kind of curious to know what I thought would be a good idea, but it was crazy to me that they didn't have the same characters. And when I heard that they were doing it with all women, that was fine because they're all talented actresses.
They're all comedians,
and
yeah.
I know
they're all
them.
good.
I know them from stuff, and it made sense. And then as I started to see things, like, do you guys remember the original trailer when they dropped that for the film for
Vaguely.
2016? Okay, so here's what I remember. This might have been at the end of 2015. First, they had a teaser, which didn't have very much at all. It just had like, I want to say like a barn, or maybe this was for the newer movie, but whatever it was, yeah, they had some kind of like quick 30-second thing, and then ended with like the Ghostbusters logo, and it said trailer coming April 30th or whatever the date was.
The barn was Afterlife.
Yeah, okay.
The barn with
I
Ecto
thought so
1.
too. Yeah, and that was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So for 2016, they had like a teaser saying trailer coming like in a few months. And we were like, really? Did we just watch a trailer for a trailer? Like that wasn't cool. And so when the trailer actually came out, Sony Pictures had it on their YouTube channel, and it got a ton of views. And back then they were showing the ratio of thumbs up to thumbs down. Mm-hmm. It was like a couple thousand thumbs up and like 1 million thumbs down. Like it was a terrible trailer. It was about 3 minutes long, and the way that they edited it was like an action movie. And so with the music and the boom, 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 like with the, all kinds
kind of like
crazy
how they
things.
edited every Dune trailer, like an action movie.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, okay. So maybe it looked like it would have been exciting, but like the jokes weren't landing. And the trailer even started with like 30 years ago.
I do remember
something
that.
happened
I
in
do
New
remember
York,
that,
and
yeah.
the Ghostbusters saved the day.
Right.
But in the 2016 movie, they never even acknowledged that this had happened before. It was supposed to be a standalone movie.
Yes.
And so in the trailer, they were just kind of exploiting the nostalgia from the old fans.
Right.
Like, hey, 30
Exactly.
years later, come see this.
Exactly.
And the trailer was so bad, it didn't use any of the original like music. It didn't feel like a Ghostbusters movie. And somebody downloaded it from YouTube and re-edited this 3-minute thing into about a minute and a half. They cut out. Unfortunately, you can't add stuff to the trailer because the movie
Sure.
wasn't out yet. But they could cut out the crap.
Yeah.
And the jokes landed better. It was punchier and more exciting, and they added the music from the original Ghostbusters and sound effects from the original Ghostbusters. And the fan-made trailer had way more thumbs ups. Like, people loved it. And they're like, Sony better hire this guy.
Yeah. It's amazing what editing can do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
It's almost like you should see someone win an award for that on a TV show.
So I was actually looking
Zing.
forward to seeing the movie based on the fan trailer, because those things were actually in the film. And I went into it in 2016 thinking, you know what? I know that this is not going to be great. Like, people are already saying it's crap, but
Right.
I don't want to go in there.
There were a lot of preconceived notions about it, and and unfortunately that led to its detriment.
Yeah, but I didn't want to go in there with a hater mindset from the
Sure.
beginning, saying I'm going to go in there with my arms crossed and just be a grump and not like it. I'm going to go in there. In fact, I'm going to pretend that I'm not like a huge Ghostbusters fan. I'm going to pretend that I don't know the other movies.
That's hard to do.
I know. But
That's
I
hard
said,
to
you
do.
know what? This is designed for a new audience, for people
Yeah.
that were born in the late 90s or into 2000s, and they're just like teenagers today. They're going out to have fun, to see a movie.
Sure.
Let this stand on its own. Bring it to me. And I actually, with that mindset, liked the movie more than I thought I would. It
Okay.
still wasn't great at all,
Yeah.
but I allowed myself to laugh at a different kind of humor.
Yeah.
Some of it was vulgar for the sake of being vulgar, and gross just for the sake of being gross. Like, I thought it was kind of
Right.
immature, but
Well, I'll never forget when I asked your brother, Avi, he's like, I didn't laugh once.
yeah. And
I was like, really?
maybe he went in
wow.
there with the grunt mentality, because there were people in there
Maybe.
laughing.
But I believe there were people laughing. But when he said, I was like, really? I was like, wow.
I'm all for the female empowerment, for there being smart female scientists who came together and started a business. I was a little bothered by Chris
Hemsworth.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was Pine or Pratt, but I'm glad you corrected me.
It's neither.
Why'd they make him such a dummy? Janine wasn't a dummy.
Janine was not a dummy.
Yeah, so
I don't know. I don't know.
They made him kind of a ditz, kind of
Well,
a fun
there was
role
a
reversal.
there was a dust up recently about involving the 2016 film because it was not included on the initial press release because I guess they just did a Ghostbusters Ultimate Collection to coincide with the home release of Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is an 8-disc set.
Holy smokes! Yeah.
Wow.
See, I do think that it should have been included. Like, I know it's not the same universe, but it still had. It's based on the same concept, and it had some cameos too from the original cast. So.
Not as those characters,
no.
though. Which is that would totally trip me out, and I would be really weirded out. I'd be like, why not just make him, who he was in the movie?
Because in the film, these women are coming up with this stuff for the first time. They're not taking the reins from somebody.
No,
who did this long time ago.
No, I know that, but they acknowledged that happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
or did they? I don't remember.
But the 2016 film lost between $50 and $75 million for Sony.
Did it?
Yeah,
it did lose a lot of money.
Even in home video.
Even after home video, I think. Well, the studio as a whole lost
home
a bunch
video.
of
This is 1989.
in 2016.
No, it's the 2016 one.
I know. No, just you calling it home video. I like that.
No, I think we still call it that.
I like that. I like that a lot. Sure. Sorry, Josh. Continue.
No, it's fine. But Koren's right. I mean, the initial trailer for the 2016 Ghostbusters film was viewed on Facebook and YouTube more than 60 million times across social media platforms in March of 2016.
Yeah, it was not like that. I'll share it with you guys after this podcast. But for anyone listening, go to YouTube and search for 2016 Ghostbusters trailer, and then type for the fan made trailer. And it's
I'll have to go back and look for that because I'm not. I feel like I've probably seen it, but I've forgotten all about it.
Yeah, I feel like I've probably seen it too, and I don't really recall.
Oh man,
almost like an honest trailer for a film. I don't know if they still do those. I'm a little out of the loop
honest
on
trailers.
Yeah, I haven't seen one in a while.
I haven't either.
So it was interesting to me that they didn't. I didn't think that they acknowledged the original movies. They did in the trailer, which was very misleading. And then now, if we go to Ghostbusters Afterlife, the latest one, they do acknowledge what happened. They talk about in 1984, ghosts took over New York, and here's what happened. But I feel like they didn't even mention once in 1989. They didn't mention Vigo. They don't mention the Statue of Liberty. They don't mention any of this stuff from Ghostbusters 2.
No.
So I feel like that never happened. They went just from the first movie to Afterlife.
Right. They definitely don't mention Vigo.
But why?
That's a good question.
Because
I don't know.
Ghostbusters 2 clearly was in that same universe. So why?
Clearly, but but I guess the thing in 84 was like, I guess it wasn't the first, as you see in Afterlife. It happens. It's happened periodically throughout time with those carvings of the years in the temple, but yeah, for our purposes, I guess, for the mass audience purpose, they just refer to the first time.
Yeah. So, but why don't they mention Ghostbusters 2, Josh?
I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, nobody knows. I mean, I guess they were just like, maybe they just weren't fans of. Maybe they didn't feel films. As I know, but maybe they didn't like it as much as. I mean, they thought they would.
Afterlife seems more focused on the backstory that Egon took off for Oklahoma and took all the gear with him and basically left those guys holding the bag, basically. But they never understood why.
Right.
And that movie is sort of that movie. This movie is trying to sort that whole story and mystery out.
Right. Why Egon left.
Mm-hmm.
So
now another thing I want to tell you guys about is Screen X. I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife in Screen X. That was the first time I'd ever even heard of that technology. It was actually surprising to me to see that. Have you guys seen anything in Screen X?
I have not.
Are you familiar with it?
I know of it.
They've got the big screen, right? That's like big. You know, the aspect ratio. I don't know what it is. It might be like 4:1 or something like that. But they also had in the theater that I was in 2 big like maybe 2K projectors on the left wall, and then 2 projectors on the right wall. and which basically turned the film into like a full panoramic thing that you could look like it was a
horseshoe.
It completely
almost like Cinerama.
Yeah,
But
it was very, very
more.
wide. And so the whole film wasn't in Screen X, but there were like the action sequences were. So like when you're in Ecto 1, what is this car? Was this?
It's still the Ecto 1.
The Ecto 1, yeah.
Okay.
It's the Ecto 1.
Yeah, okay. Because I know in Ghostbusters 2 they had an Ecto 1A and then they changed it. So when you're in an Ecto 1 and you're driving, they have you're watching, it's like first person going down the road, and on the side you're seeing like trees and cars and stuff go by you. But it looks like I don't think they can just take a film and convert it to Screen X. I think that they need to actually shoot select scenes. And
I did notice a couple scenes where, because I remember you saying you saw it that way, so I was kind of like looking for scenes that would necessitate a Screen X viewing.
You think it's like a 3D movie where they're like, well, we got to add a couple of things just to
in a sense, kind of like that, and also like when Nolan shot certain scenes in IMAX as opposed to just a regular film, like noticing that change. Like I feel there was like one scene where they're driving along the wheat field and you see the stream.
That's exactly one of them.
Yeah, take apart the entire screen. So it's like they would morph it to fit the Screen X theater. Like you just see the stream going all around you.
So there's not a lot of films that take advantage of this Screen X novelty, but that was the first time that I had heard of it, and that was in either this year or the end of last year, because that came out in November. But there's other films that use the Screen X, like the Uncharted, the Batman are in Screen X. Last year they had No Time to Die, Black Widow, Spider-Man, No Way Home, Venom, Raya and the Last Dragon. 2020 they had over a dozen films. 2019 even more. 2018. So it's like this has been going on since
at least the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
2013.
Yeah, 2015 is like when it started to pick up. But there's maybe about a dozen. So I wonder if this is one of those technologies where you have to have somebody from like the Screen X company, just like when you have somebody from Dolby or somebody from IMAX on set, like having
possibly
certified.
Because how would you know, like, is there a different camera you're using, or are you just shooting different footage
it's
either
a different. They're either using a different camera.
You'd almost have to simul-roll cameras on opposite sides of your action, because it definitely seems like it's a revision of Cinerama, which Cinerama was a 3-camera rig, and they would shoot. So you'd have these vast you'd have this vast perspective of action, but it really only works for movies with a lot of action on the screen. What was the first? I'm trying to think of what the first Cinerama movie was, but yeah, you're right.
Oh, I think it was a Western. So Cinerama was one of the early widescreen formats, right? When they used to have like VistaVision and CinemaScope, and Panavision. And Cinerama was the one that, rather than either matting the film or doing anamorphic, they use, like you said, 3 different cameras that they'd have to use 3 different projectors on a wide curved screen, and it looked awesome. But the drawback is that you can't have a whole lot of movement. Everything had to be like very wide angle, right? So I think they shot it with 3 like
How the West was one.
That was it. Okay, yeah.
How the West was one in 1962.
So and all of them had to be like 21 millimeter lenses or something like that, and the action, your actors had to be like at a certain focal length because you couldn't really mess with it too much. So it's very limiting, and I bet that Screen X is kind of shot the same way, and because there's only so many a year, like less than a dozen, I wonder if it's one of those things where you have to like rent the rig from them, and if each one of these films is shooting over a 30-day period, it's like, well, we've got it for January, you guys, this other film has it for March.
Well,
I like to think they have more than one rig.
Damian and I saw a movie that was shot in Cinerama Grand Prix.
Yes.
So
at the Directors Theater, right? The Samuel Goldwyn Theater.
The Goldwyn Theater is that's the Academy's theater.
The Academy, yeah,
yep.
Yeah. It's a great theater, actually. That's like state of the art.
I haven't been to the new museum theater. I'm sure it's nice too, but
I have not yet either.
Yeah, I've been
in the museum, but not to the theater.
Yeah,
it looks amazing.
I'll make it to the museum one of these days.
Make
it back to Los Angeles one of these days too.
That'd be nice, Josh. It'd be nice.
It would be nice. It's been 5.5 years. So.
Damn, really?
Yeah.
Seems like yesterday, Josh.
It does seem like yesterday. Well, you talk to me a fair amount over text, so
We do. We do.
I'm
We
still
keep that
close
going.
by. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I did want to bring up, it's funny, because I kind of forgot about, it's not a cameo, he just had a small role in the original Ghostbusters, and where coincidentally he also played a cop.
Who's this?
Reginald Vell Johnson,
that's right. He is in that movie, and he's also, of course, he was in Die Hard. That's his.
where he plays a cop.
Yeah.
Which role is this? I don't know.
He's just a cop in the police station after they get arrested, and then he's the one that brings them to go see the mayor.
But in Die Hard, he is the cop.
And in Die Hard, he's the cop,
he's,
obviously.
He's the buddy. He's the buddy of the John McClane character in Die Hard, played by Bruce Willis.
Which you know that, right?
Yeah.
Which Die Hard.
And then he played a cop.
Die Hard is worthy of its own podcast in and of itself.
Sure. And then he obviously goes on to play yet another cop in Family Matters for X amount of years.
Yeah. And what was he also?
Huh.
He was always a cop.
He wasn't in Turner and Hooch, was he?
I'm sure there's a way I can find that out, Josh.
I bet I can
But
find it out
off the top of
first.
my head, I can't. I don't remember if he was in Turner and Hooch. Let's see.
Did we?
Yeah,
like
he
Turner
was
and
in.
Hooch?
Yeah, he was in. He was in Die Hard, Die Hard 2. Let's see, what else was he in?
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah,
of
he was in.
credits
He
I
was the
gotta weigh
corrections. He was in Remo. He was in Remo Williams.
down. Remo Williams. Yeah.
He was in Crocodile Dundee. He was in Die Hard. He was in Turner and Hooch. He played another police officer in Turner and Hooch.
Okay.
And then like the other, he was in.
Crocodile Dundee, but he was a chauffeur in Crocodile Dundee.
He was in Posse. And then I think he kind of cashed in with Family Matters. So
Yeah. TGIF.
yeah, but I was in Family Matters for 215 episodes. That made his career right there.
Absolutely.
And he had a role as a fire chief in Avengers Endgame.
Nice.
That's great.
Wow.
I don't even remember that.
So you can't say he's typecast.
Well, he plays a good cop.
Yeah.
When you're good at something, you roll with it.
Yeah, you do.
It's too hard in this business, I feel.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being typecast.
No, I think
I definitely wouldn't mind.
I mean,
being
going
typecast
back, if you go back and research a lot of these actors who made great movies in the 70s and 80s, and a lot of, even you look at like an actor like Gene Hackman, who's off topic, but Gene Hackman was acting for probably a dozen years on stage and film before he ever got any kind of notoriety.
Right.
And it's just another example of, the actors and directors and people who persevere are the ones who don't quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Morgan Freeman's another guy who's been acting for decades before I ever knew who he was.
Well, he was in Sesame. Was he on Sesame Street? No.
Probably as an older guy, like after we knew him.
Yeah. He was on something like that. No, it wasn't Sesame Street. It was Electric.
No.
It was Electric Company.
No.
That's what he was on.
Okay, well, I'm gonna pause this.
Okay.
Hey, do you hear us better now than you did before, or Okay,
That
I think I
silence.
had
Awkward
you
silence.
listening to a different
Awkward
mic
silence.
before,
You guys still there?
unless yeah, my Zoom glitched and closed.
You
so
guys
that
still there?
stinks.
You guys still there?
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
buddy.
Yeah, confirmed that ScreenX does use 3 cameras. It's got a pretty
You guys
cool
still
rig,
there?
but I bet it is. I'm sure it's rented.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of, except it's not perfectly stitched, like Cinerama had to be. It doesn't have to be because it's a little bit more. I think they're just trying to immerse you. Like if they could perfectly stitch it, that's fine. But I think it sometimes just doesn't work out that way.
Mm-mm.
Somebody will make a movie solely in ScreenX at some point.
Yeah, like
It seems like something that Nolan would do.
Yeah, but he's still on the IMAX thing, which is fine, and I'm all about it.
I mean, the problem with IMAX, and Koren can probably talk more to this than than you and I can is that the IMAX
Definitely.
rigs are so loud.
The camera?
And
Yeah.
it's hard to record sound with them. You have to overdub everything, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But also IMAX is really expensive. 70 millimeter film.
Right. Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing. IMAX is still a film, and Nolan's a purist, and he needs the film, which I don't. I'm all about it, so it's fine.
All right. So when we left off, I think we were talking about Die Hard, about the cop.
We were still talking about Reginald Vell Johnson.
Yeah. So let's jump back in there so we don't have a weird transition.
Okay.
No. Yeah. So basically, I mean, it's funny that him and William Atherton, Walter Peck, are connected by Ghostbusters and Die Hard.
Yeah. Okay. That's why we've heard Die Hard
This
twice.
man has no dick.
Exactly.
That's probably the other line you quoted as a kid.
Absolutely. I mean, basically, Ghostbusters for me was, as a child, very impressionable. We just, we role played at school,
Who was your character?
It didn't really matter. Obviously, we all kind of wanted to be Venkman because we all knew he was the leader, but I didn't really care. So
Not me.
you wanted to be Ray Stantz.
I was Ray Stantz.
All right. I didn't really care. I didn't really care who I was.
Yeah. Did you have any of the toys? Any of the official toys, or did you just
Not back then. No, I
just
did
like-
not.
Oh, you do now?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
I don't now. But
Okay.
yeah, I never had. That's really weird. Actually, I never had any Ghostbusters toys.
Yeah. How about
Me
you,
either.
Josh?
Nope, never had a single one.
Did you ever play around as Ghostbusters characters as a kid?
No, I didn't. I think I might have been a little too old for that, but I've saw the movie more than once in the theater.
Yeah,
But I kind of topped out on toys with Star Wars. Had
Fair.
a lot of Star Wars toys as a kid, and once I kind of got through that, I don't think I was interested in any other toys
Okay.
quite like that.
If you had Star Wars toys, then
Fair.
you weren't too old for Ghostbusters.
no. Josh is only a few
No.
years older than me. He's not.
Yeah, I'm
Josh
2.5
isn't old.
Years older. I'm old.
Eh,
Okay.
I'm old. I'm oldish. So
Okay, but you weren't like a teenager when the movie came out.
no, I was 10.
Yeah. Okay, that's not too old for toys.
exactly. See, I was 7 going on 8, so I was.
I mean,
I
it's
was
interesting that based on Koren's age, it's interesting that he got into the Ghostbusters because he would have seen it at a later after the movie came out because he would have probably seen that.
You're right. I never saw it in
Before-
theaters.
Yeah, because you would have seen it probably before Ghostbusters 2.
That I don't know. My first time seeing Ghostbusters that I remember, it was on TV. We were kids, so this might have been 80. It might have been just before Ghostbusters 2 came out. So maybe it was like
Probably 87 or 88.
88, 80, yeah, maybe 89. So I was probably 6, 7, 8. And I remember I didn't see the whole story. Like we didn't sit down and watch the entire movie. It was just on. It was on
Sure.
TV. And I just remember seeing ghosts come up from everywhere, and it was that scene when just things were going haywire. And I remember the taxi driver turning around, and it was like a zombie skeleton thing.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking that was pretty scary.
Yeah, it could be.
And I said something about how scary looking that was, and I was like, "Is that real?" And my uncle Richard, who had passed away probably not that long after that, he was pretty young. He was comforting me, and he was like, "No, that's just like they just put some mud on his face." I'm like, "Okay." And for some reason, I just believed that that's just what that was. It's just a guy with like a muddy face.
Sure, why not?
And that's probably how they did that. But yeah, I do remember it being kind of scary for a kid because all I saw was the ghost stuff. I didn't even understand that
Yeah.
they were catching ghosts.
I mean, like I said, I was 7 going on 8, and I knew like what ghosts. I knew of ghosts, and I knew like they can't really hurt you.
Is that true?
Well, they're
your mythology.
Yeah, like they're if ghosts can go through you, you can go through can't physically really scare the shit out of you, I guess, but it can't I mean, it's a phantom, right? Like it's just
No, they could. I mean, in the movies, they can hurt you because they're physically. If they
Well,
can
in the
they-
movies, I
if
guess.
they can unbutton your pants, then they can also punch you in the face. They can.
Sure. Well, I'm still waiting for that dream, but
Well, do either of you believe in ghosts?
yeah, I believe in maybe not ghosts to the extent of Ghostbusters, but I believe in spirits,
And
if you will.
Do you have any firsthand experience with maybe something that you thought was a ghost or
No.
no?
I do not believe in ghosts. I've had stories when I was younger that I thought could have been, but it's just like something scary happened. I heard noises and I'm like, oh, it must be ghosts.
Yeah.
But I've tried, like New Year's Eve from 2020 to 21. Rather than traveling to like some distant place to celebrate New Year's Eve in another country, went with a couple of friends to Arizona, a little place called Jerome, Arizona. It's an old mining. It's a ghost town pretty much, but people live there. And there's a place that does ghost tours. And so we went out one night with this guy who took us through town, and he gave us all different meters. One of them detects different like electromagnetic radiation in the air, and there's another one that was like a CB radio kind of that's always changing frequencies. It's just like searching for anything, and as soon as it hits on any kind of transmission, it'll stop and let you listen to it. And so what you end up picking up is anybody who's like, if there's truckers driving by a few miles away, I mean, this is what I think we're picking up. You're going to hear their voice for a second, or anything, TV or radio. And so you end up hearing a lot of silence, and then you'll hear things like, it's just like noises. And if you're listening for it, we interpret those noises as words.
Yeah.
And so you might hear things like, on Saturday, the 14, and you're like, well, what does that mean? And he'll tell you a story about how the people used to meet in this saloon on Saturdays, and this guy was shot over some kind of like poker hand or something he had. But it's I mean that was kind of a slow night. It was a little bit disappointing because we didn't see anything that I thought was had any kind of merit to it. He also did things where he would like deal cards to himself, and like those numbers might mean something.
Okay.
And
so it was a show.
We kind of like, it wasn't even that good of a show. He just takes you out and maybe you'll see things. He tells you stories of like who died where.
Right.
And it seems that like for me, I feel like if there were ghosts, we might have seen ghosts of the Native Americans that had that area 400 years ago.
Yeah.
Or maybe the tourist that died there 6 years ago, or maybe one of the
something
residents.
related to that location.
It could be anybody, but all of the stories all tend to be from like the 1800s. It's all like the miners and the prostitutes and whatever that were in that area. It's like I feel like we're taking these stories and building ghosts around them.
I believe that.
The hotel that we stayed in, by the way, used to be a hospital. It's like the big hotel. It's up on the hill, and there's lots of ghost stories there. Like there's a registry where people write things that happened to them, and so when you check in, you can read this registry and hear about ghost sightings and things that have happened to other people. And then, of course, when you hear noises in the hall, you believe that those same things are happening to you now, and so now you've got something to add to that registry. Things like knocking on your door in the middle of the night, and then you open it up and there's nobody there. Or you hear a sound of somebody rolling a cart down the hallway, but it's the middle of the night. There's nobody rolling a cart, but it sounds like a hospital gurney. It maybe, but people are saying that it sounds like a hospital gurney. Or in some rooms, repeatedly, everyone that stays in that room says that they felt the presence of a young girl who standing in the corner and like watching them or something like that. So we tried to summon ghosts and like try to have conversations, and sadly didn't experience it. And being the good friend that I am, when we left to go on a trip for the day, I was like, oh shoot, I forgot my wallet, and I ran back in and I like messed up a bunch of stuff in the room and put the books on the floor, trying to like.
So when you got back and be like, oh shit,
I tried to give my friends an experience.
Right. Did they think somebody was just robbing the room?
No. At first they thought it could be something, and I think eventually they caught on, and I think they weren't as pleased with the experience I gave them as.
You tried, Koren. It's all right.
They saw it as me mocking them.
Josh, do you believe?
I don't have any firsthand experience with ghosts. My father claims to have seen a ghost when he was in college. He was staying with a girlfriend at the time in another room. He was staying in the room of the grandmother who'd recently passed away, and he claims to have seen the dead grandmother's ghost looking through his stuff. And when I was in college, I oddly enough, I stayed with a girlfriend at her house in Murrells Inlet, which is just south of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Okay.
I'm from South Carolina, and the house that she and her family lived in dated back to, I think, the Revolutionary War. So it was a nationally, I think it was a nationally registered historic place at the time. And it was right on the Intercoastal Waterway. Beautiful old house. And the house was so old that it was held together with wood pegs. I didn't see any, there weren't a lot of nails in at least the older part of the house. But I never saw a ghost. But she told me some odd stories about it. She said there was a slave that had been killed on one of the porches of the house. She also told me that Meriwether Lewis had conducted an affair with a married woman in the house at one point. Meriwether Lewis of Lewis and Clark.
Of Lewis and Clark, yeah.
But the weird part of my experience was, and there was also an Underground Railroad shelter outside the house as well. So there's a lot of really cool history on the property. But when you walk through so the house you entered the house from the back, and you'd walk through the house through the hallway. And once you got through the hallway, there was this 2-story foyer where there was a staircase. And I always felt like somebody was watching me. When you walk through and you looked up the staircase, you always felt like somebody else was there. I never saw anything. And then, of course, and when I slept in the living room, which was next to my friend's bedroom, and the wind off of the Intercoastal Waterway and the Atlantic Ocean was so loud, and it made the house creak and rumble, and it had all kinds of creepy noises all through the night. I think I might have slept 2 hours that night because I swore something was outside that house.
I would believe
such an eerie feeling.
It is an eerie.
It is. I mean, the house like I said, the house was 250 years old, 300 years old. So
yeah,
it definitely had some sort of checkered history, if you will.
Yeah, that's a good way to put that. I want to give a quick plug, by the way. There's another podcast that I've engineered in the past. It's called Sinframundo. So it's like the word inframundo, which is underworld in Spanish, and with an S in front of it, Sinframundo. These two young ladies, Sam and Sophie, share stories, all kinds of stuff kind of related to the stories that we're sharing.
The
paranormal stories. Yeah, it's all paranormal stuff, conspiracies, unsolved mysteries, and they do an awesome job doing that. So check it out. It's on all the podcast platforms.
There you go. Sinframundo.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've done a pretty good job here talking about probably one of all of our favorite films growing up in Ghostbusters from 1984. Definitely very impressionable. Like I said, for me, just role playing as a kid, just, it was like the stuff you can do with your friends because there was just more than one. Yeah. You had 4. So we can all be a Ghostbuster during recess and lunchtime and after school and whatnot.
Well,
but
we should do that again as adults. What's stopping us? Maybe this weekend we'll do some Ghostbusters roleplay.
Maybe. I doubt that though.
Hey, that's not a no.
It's not a no. That's
I'm gonna go with highly unlikely for me, but we'll see. So with that, we're gonna bring our When Dudes Met film Ghostbusters edition to a close. It was fun. It was fun talking with you guys. I loved it. There's obviously we could have gotten way more into it, and there's way more things we could talk about. I mean, there's plenty of lines that I still use to this day in certain situations. Basically, where do these stairs go?
They go up.
They go up.
Yeah.
They go up.
I still use that one a lot.
Use it often. But so thank you, Koren, for producing and engineering and bringing to light some facts I was not aware of. And Josh, obviously my co-host and Hort and historian, always bringing the knowledge. And I'm just here.
I enjoyed going back and revisiting the films, and I enjoyed discovering Afterlife. But I as a unproduced screenwriter, I'm always fascinated as to where the movies come from and how the ideas came along, but also having, as an unproduced screenwriter, I know I had the frustration of not having any of my work done So
Sure.
I'm always curious as to how the movie got from what was an unproduced script to becoming a produced script, and even understanding that, you know, actors like Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis and even Ivan Reitman, people who were successful in Hollywood even before this movie got made, and how they struggled to get the movie made, and how the movie had all these different shapes and forms before it became the movie that we know and love today.
Yeah. We just know there's a lot of people that make it happen, no matter how much, how bad we want it. Sadly, it's never up to us unless we do it ourselves.
This is true.
So, on that note.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for having me. I always appreciate talking to you guys.
No, of course.
We have some of the same favorite movies.
We do. And I'm sure we can do it again with another, you know, we did a Back to the Future one earlier, so we can do, what else do you have up here? Your posters.
The Terminator movies.
You have Terminators.
Bring in Matt for that one.
Yeah, we can bring in Matt for that one.
Cool.
Die Hard.
Yeah. I would love to do Die Hard and Lethal Weapon. And
Lethal Weapon's a movie that I saw during the pandemic, and I was reminded of how great that movie is too. And,
yeah.
And, you know,
still holds up.
Before we knew Mel Gibson as we know him today, for better or for worse.
You know what? He was great at that. He's still
was really
great at
great.
a lot of things. So,
and I think, and even there's a little bit of history with that script too, that's worth shedding some light on too. But we'll save that for that episode.
Sure, let's do that. With that being said, this is Damian Vargas.
I'm Josh Locklair.
And I'm Koren Young.
This is When Dudes Met Film. We'll see you later.